going back to the Ring of Dreams. We're going to do some fantasy booking here. If you book it, they will come. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take the lead on this one.
Go ahead.
So here's my Ring of Dreams fantasy booking of what I would like to see, a program, a rivalry, feud, whatever you want to call it, that I would like to see take us from Full Gear to Revolution. And I'm gonna take your guy that you picked from the pick of the week, Eddie Kingston. It's time. We were just talking about this. It's time. I want to see him in a long-term rivalry. I want to see this guy really plant some roots with somebody and get something going. And furthermore, I want to see this guy start getting the time and the attention that he deserves. This man needs a championship. And the championship he needs is not the world title. It's not the tag title. Oh no. It's the TNT title. This bad boy right here.
Like you said, Sammy Guevara's title run, yeah, it's going nowhere.
I don't like it. I don't like it. The thing I don't like about it is and it's not even necessarily maybe Sammy's fault, but maybe it is. When Miro was TNT champion, that title felt important. That title felt like it mattered. I have not cared about that title since Sammy won it.
Because they haven't given us a reason to care.
No, and he's not doing. I just don't think his personality's right for a title, to be honest with you. Not yet. He's got to grow. He's still young. He's still learning, and he's growing. You know, it's like MJF said, that he's one of the 4 pillars. And MJF just said this week, they're a pillar, but they're not where him and Darby are. They're not there yet. They're not. They will be. They can be if they choose to be, but they're not there yet. So what I'd like to see is Eddie Kingston, whether he wins or loses versus Punk, doesn't matter. I want to see him after the match. He's very similar to what he did on Rampage, and I want to see him start attacking Sammy Guevara. I want to see him go after him because he's a pretty boy. I want to see him go after him because he's small, because he's little. He's going to bully Sammy. He's going to be the full definition of a bully. He's going to take this heel turn that he's gotten with Punk, and he's going to run with it. He is going to be a mean, nasty, just evil bully to Sammy. And they're gonna start it out. He's gonna be, coming after Sammy. He's gonna tell him, he's like, somebody like you don't deserve that. You didn't do anything to earn it. You've had everything handed to you. You didn't even earn the title shot. You just had it handed to you. Meanwhile, me, I've busted my ass for everything that I've had. I'm lucky to be here because of everything that I've gone through. And, I got one title shot. I got cheated out of it. And I never got a shot again. But meanwhile, you jumped to the front of the line with no earning whatsoever and took it. Took what was mine. So now I'm coming for you. And, I want to see, he starts bullying him a little bit. They have maybe like a match at like a midpoint and the Inner Circle comes in and helps him out. And then you have it be Kingston kind of versus Sammy and one other member of the Inner Circle, maybe Jake or something like that. And so you kind of get the feeling that Kingston's outnumbered a little bit. And then you could go one of two ways from that point. You could either have Kingston overcome the odds, take out the other person first, and kind of like run a little bit of a gauntlet almost to get back to Sammy. Or, and this is risky because, you've had him kind of be the heel so far, but you could have Jon Moxley make his return depending if he's ready or not by then, which again, if he's not ready, then I wouldn't, I'm not going to say that he should be, but if
Don't push it.
Exactly. But if he's ready before Revolution, then you have Jon Moxley come back in and take out the other member of the Inner Circle that's been helping Sammy so that Eddie can focus on fighting Sammy. And ultimately, you have Eddie face Sammy for the title at Revolution, and Eddie Kingston wins and becomes your new TNT champion. That's my fantasy book.
Okay.
Now, I know I presented the topic to you a little late. Um, honestly, the only reason I did that is because I thought of the type of topic a little late. So everything I just said, I came up with this morning. But what are your thoughts? Who would you like to see get in a feud or a promotion or anything to just kind of carry us from Full Gear to Revolution? Is there any kind of ideas you would have for something like that?
Honestly, as far as Eddie Kingston is concerned, I want to see him and Punk continue this rivalry that they just started. I wanted to, try to build up to something, have Punk help him become the next big star, the next legitimate threat for, say, the TNT Championship or the World Championship. That's what I want to see.
I'm down with that. So you kind of going the same route, but a little bit different in that you want to see a prologue before he starts going
Hmm.
for the title.
Exactly.
I respect that. I respect that. I know we've seen several times in WWE where they've pushed somebody to a title run before they were ready for it, including somebody I just mentioned in mine. Jake Hager, formerly known as Jack
Hmm.
Swagger, got a World Heavyweight Championship run, and everybody felt that it was way too soon. He wasn't quite ready yet, and unfortunately, I think that is in fact the case, and that it was a little bit too soon. But and it did hurt him in the long run. It did end up hurting him in the long run.
It was because he had a match against Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania 29. I remember going to that WrestleMania thinking that Alberto Del Rio was going to beat the then Jack Swagger that night at WrestleMania. And when it didn't happen and we didn't get a cash in from Dolph Ziggler, I was disappointed because that's what I was looking forward to. That's what I was looking to see WWE do is have Dolph Ziggler cash in that money in the bank and we have a title change
Yeah.
after a title change.
Yeah, I remember that too as well. I was not very happy. That was a very interesting time. And by interesting, I mean very boring. Um,
Yes.
yeah, it was a very unique time in wrestling. But let me ask you something then. So if your idea is to have them continue this feud with CM Punk, so who do you have go over at Full Gear between Kingston and Punk?
I would have Punk go over.
Clean or
It would have to be clean, but after Punk goes over Eddie Kingston at Full Gear, that just enrages Eddie Kingston because Eddie Kingston is a brawler and he feels that he can beat CM Punk, and it's going to be, a mission of revenge for everything that happened 15 years prior.
I can see that. And then at Revolution,
Because
go ahead.
you have 15 years of history between, CM Punk and several others for Eddie Kingston, but it's just at the tipping point right now. It's going to boil over to where he's going to use that as momentum to beat Punk the next time he faces him.
I can get into that. I can get into that. And like you said, I mean, the what little we've gotten so far has been great. So I would, by all means, be here for more of it. But I think the moral of this story ultimately is that both of us picked Eddie Kingston for somebody we'd like to see a long term program carry from Full Gear to Revolution. So the moral is AEW. Put Kingston in something. Give this man something to do for a long period of time because this guy will make this show better. He is a difference maker on the mic that will elevate the show and bring something that you're missing. So, whether you put Kingston in a longer feud against Punk, or you put him in a feud against Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, or you put him against somebody else, for the love of God, put this man in something. Let him do what he does best, and you will benefit from it.
He's got the it factor, and that it factor is the ability to get in that ring, go backstage, and cut a promo.
Agreed. Agreed. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. And not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. You look at like Jurassic Express, they're one of the best in ring tag teams right now. I love them.
Hmm.
Big fan. Couldn't care less about what they have to say. Couldn't care less. They're not good on the mic. They can't do it. Lucha Brothers, great in the ring. Couldn't care less about what you had to say.
No, and that's why they have a manager speaking for them.
But even the manager, though, I couldn't care less what he has to say. It's not good. But Eddie Kingston, I care about what he has to say.
Yeah.
MJF, I care about what he has to say. When either of those two people, when their music hits and they're not in a match, I turn the TV up.
Hmm.
I turn it up because I want to hear clearly what they have to say.
Yeah, when they're on screen, you stop what you're doing and you listen to each and every word coming out of their mouth.